welcome, hola, what's good? Hey, y'all, hey, you are tuned in to Circle Up with Zach and Amanda Hurd.
Yes.
What's good, y'all?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
We are here again in the relationship series still, episode 5. I know this season has been cruising along the way. I hope that all the listeners are able to really benefit from the conversations, find some things that you can pull from. You know me, I love to leave a jewel or two behind. I always reference it with jewels. So find you some jewels you can pick up and just share along the way. So Zach is back with us again, as y'all know. He wasn't here last week, but I promised y'all he will be back this week. So yeah, I'm excited about this episode. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm ready to go. I'm excited, but I'm just excited.
It reminds me of our goddaughters. But I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I've been really thinking about the topic lately, and I'm ready to go.
That's good. Well, grab your snacks, drinks, and chairs, and let's get ready to circle up. So what's good, everybody? This is just gonna be a super interesting topic. A topic that a lot of us kind of push back. A topic that a lot of us it probably crosses our minds at least several times throughout a week, and we just kind of bypass it. And so I'm excited to be able to just shed a little light on this. It's actually a topic that Zach has been thinking about for a little bit, and so just bringing it to the light, I can't wait to dive in.
Yes. Like my wife said, it's a topic I've been talking about for a while. And one of the reasons why is because we are in a relationship series topic, and relationships can reach many different areas in our life. We all have some type of relationship in one way or the other. Some family, some friends, some husband, wives, loved ones. We all have a relationship. And sometimes in relationships, we take things for granted, and this topic for me is called It's Necessary. It's necessary. And the reason why that's a very important topic for me, because oftentimes when we are in a relationship with someone, we take them for granted. And sometimes when the relationship is, I would say, established or seasoned, and we've been in a relationship for a long time, we feel like we rob each other of what's due to each other, because we think sometimes, it's not necessary, because I know this person for so long that it's not necessary that I bring my wife roses, at home, because she know I love her, Yeah. It's not necessary that I show up for my friend's wedding, because he know I support him, but It is necessary.
And it's quite amazing, because it makes me think about the necessities for ourselves. It makes me think about how we need to be able to be in a good relationship, a good standing relationship with ourselves before we even tap into a relationship with somebody else. But in saying that and thinking about the necessities of a relationship, it's sometimes we get to a place where we're like, well, it's not necessary to get all dressed up and cute. It's not necessary, to put my face on today, or it's not necessary, for me to, look nice, to do things that benefit myself. It's not necessary. And it also makes me think about jumping into relationships with or lost relationships with family members and stuff. It's not necessary that I call them and check in, because it's my mom. It's not necessary. Like my aunt knows that I love her. It's not necessary.
Yeah, but it is necessary. It's very necessary, and we have to find a way to make, like you said, make that necessity. Yeah, I know the words, can't say it sometimes. But yeah, we got to find a way, because what we don't understand is when we make that step and we make it necessary, what we're doing is we're growing in levels. We're that that effort doesn't go unnoticed, and it doesn't go unappreciated, and it doesn't go. It moves mountains, and it make things happen. So it is very necessary. Growing up, I was the baby. Well, really, this is your story more so than mine, but you've experienced it more than I have. But growing up, I was the baby, and I have three brothers and I have one sister, but I was always different. My mom always knew that Zach could be all right. So a lot of times, like I still feel like I'm telling you a story, but a lot of times, sometimes I can go weeks or even sometimes months without even speaking to my mom, because we kind of have that relationship where, oh well, he's okay. I don't really have to call him and see how he's doing. He's okay. He's strong. He's gonna survive. He'll be okay. So when she might call one of my brothers, say, hey, how you doing? How you, sometimes I don't get that phone call, but it's because of, in her eyes, I'm okay.
Right.
But it's necessary because, just because I'm strong, it doesn't mean I don't need to be
felt like you're on the mind of someone. Exactly. Or on the heart. Somebody's thinking of me. Somebody cares of me. Somebody understands that as strong as I am, I still carry weaknesses. As bold as I might be, I still get frightened sometimes. And so it's necessary to check in. That's right. Necessary to show that appreciation, show that love, make that phone call is necessary.
That's right. So if you have a son, if you have a daughter, if you have a mother, if you have a friend, that you hold them in that place. You hold them in that place that in your mind, like they're strong, they're brave, and so they don't need it. Make it your purpose to reach out anyway.
Right.
Make it your purpose for that to be necessary for you to say, you know what? Even though they may not need it, I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna make it necessary to do it anyway.
Right. True story. So, I remember I was in this place in my life, and this was like a few years ago. Not too many years ago, but slightly a few years ago. I remember that I got in this place where I was a little missing my family, because see, I grew up a lot with my grandmother, and my grandma, y'all know I giggle when I say grandma because she's my nana, so I'm used to saying my nana. But so Nana was always around, family. She was always here, there, and everywhere. She loved to have a good time, and a good time was, her best friend. And so growing up under that, it felt and feels strange when, you don't have that anymore. And so I remember just hanging out with my aunts when I was really little. It was so special to me. It was a really, really special moment. And I couldn't wait till, one of them would pick me up and take me here or take me there, or, one of them would take me somewhere and buy me special things. Just the moment of us being together was always extremely special. And, as I grew up and, things changed and times changed, and then I moved and I kept growing, and our relationship began to kind of stretch out, and over the years it stretched out a little bit more. And then every so often I would get in touch with them, and they would send me a gift, and the gift would remind me of the different gifts that I would get when we spent a lot of time together. But then even in that time, the relationship would thin out the more so. And so age, time, and everything else, distance got in the way. And I grew up, and one day I was just in this zone. Like, Dad, what happened to the relationship? What happened to that moment? Because I loved how special that moment was, And I started getting a little defensive. I started feeling like, well, why don't they call me? Why don't they reach out to me? Like, they're the adult, they should be the ones that's, trying to make sure that I'm okay. Mm-hmm. But before I can leave that moment, I was like, wow, the phone works both ways. You hear people say that from time to time, but never really exercise it. Mm-hmm. And I began to exercise that. I remember I called my aunt. And when I called my aunt, the conversation was a little strange. It was a little strange because so much time and distance had kind of taken place. The necessities wasn't being utilized. That's right. throughout the length of time. And so it was like, hey, how you doing? Good. You don't really know how to fill the gap. Mm-hmm. And so but I think it was so bold that I took that step. and I reached out and I called, because that was the first step to replacing the necessities.
That's right.
And so because of that, and because of the motive that was behind it, I continued to call, and before I knew it, the relationship regained. And not only did it regain, but it's almost like everything that once was never lost. And then they began to call me, and everything, if you see where I'm going, the relationship was able to grow, it was able to stretch, it was able to unite, it was able to do everything. But when we pull out the necessaries,
That's
when we
right.
pull out the little things, like just call, once a week, just call or just check in, how when we pull those things out, we lose
So much.
Yeah, so
That's right.
much.
That's right. Like you said, this topic was near and dear to me. Because everybody during COVID, and I'm speaking for the whole world. When COVID hit, it changed a lot of things. It changed a lot of there's a crazy amount of people that stopped going to church.
Right.
There's a crazy amount of people that stopped giving the time to God that we once gave, or the commitment, because of COVID and because of everything that came behind COVID. But I do believe this. I do believe in that time some people found themselves, some people got a closer relationship with God, and I believe some people drifted away. But through it all, I believe that people realized where their relationship was. But even in that time, my son came to me one day and he said, "Dad, I need to get a closer relationship with God. I can feel where, my son's getting older, but in that time he was getting older, but he came to a place where he felt like, Dad, my relationship with God needs to be stronger." And so that really like changed my heart, because even though our household loves God and we put God first. And the time away from fellowshipping, with other saints, not that we're not worshiping and praying at home, but the time that we used to spend fellowshipping with the other saints, that was necessary. You go through times, you're like, what, we're doing pretty good, we're doing all right, we're praying at home, God is still moving, God is still blessing, God is still doing things are still happening. So you don't really think it's necessary. But when my son told me that, I looked at myself and I said, you know what? I remember when I used to worship God, and I used to worship God so deeply that I used to rise, like my spirit used to rise to the place where I was gone, but since then, I haven't had the same worship, which in turn into I didn't have the same relationship. So sometimes, when we're young in church and we say, oh, that ain't necessary, oh, you ain't got to go to church, you can get it right at home, all that ain't necessary. But like in my life, I'm learning that it is necessary. It is necessary, and I'm not saying, don't quote me wrong, I'm not saying you have to be in church. That's necessary in order to have a relationship with God. But what I'm saying is God principles are necessary. When God said it's important that we gather around with two or more, it's not that you can't get it by yourself, but it's a certain thing that happens when you can lock up with other believers. And so I'm in a time in my life where I'm finding, like, even my relationship with God, some things that as you grow in your relationship, you say, oh, all that's not necessary. A lot of it is necessary, me. I'm reminded when God created us and God so much wanted to be in relationship with us. And even when we sinned and sin came between us and God not only gave his son for our sins, but when God came and Jesus came in the flesh of God to give his life, that was necessary. Like, we don't understand that. Like, we're like, well, Dad, Jesus came and he could have, he's the son of God, he could have, but everything Jesus went through, it was necessary for the relationship. You know what I mean? Like when we relate to him, when we talk to him, and we confide in him, everything he went through was necessary. The Bible says, by his stripes we were healed. That's necessary. It makes sense. So like we need to realize in any relationship there is necessities. There's things that's necessary that's gonna grow the relationship, that's gonna push the relationship to the next level. So let's not forsake the necessities in our relationship.
Yes, yes, yes. It's important that if we find ourselves in a lack of necessities in the relationship, and some may be thinking like, well, what are some necessities? What are some of the things that's necessary that I'm possibly lacking, I'm possibly missing? Those very thoughts that cross your mind, like, should I kiss her? Should I say good morning? You know, it's simple things like that. Have you ever told somebody good morning and seen like their face expression completely changed? It does something. It's awakening. If you used to message your partner early in the morning and say good morning beautiful or how you're doing, you know, those things mean so much, and they push and grow a relationship so far. And so anything that you can think back on that placed a smile or warmed the heart is necessary in a relationship. It just opens up that place inside of the individual that makes them think about you, makes them have you on their mind even the more so. So when you're in need, or when you're just, you know, not around, that person has you on their heart, on their mind, and so they can't wait to do something for you. They can't wait. And sometimes that do isn't always something physical, but it can also be things that, you know, they just want to get around and be that ear for you because you can trust them. It can be simple things like they can't wait to I don't know what, help you
run your bathwater. It could be anything.
Yeah, just and the annoying things, you know, those annoying things become not so annoying because you're on their mind. They find it a joy. They find it a pleasure to be able to move on your behalf because of the relationship.
Yes, sir. So it is necessary. That's just what I want everybody to take away from this message. It is necessary.
It's necessary.
Like my wife said, anything that crossed your mind that you would typically do. I can't talk tonight. That you would normally do. That's an easier word. That you would normally do that you feel like you don't need to do it because you're already deep in a relationship.
Right.
Well, in every relationship, there's deeper.
Right.
And so the necessities is what's gonna take you deeper.
Yes, I agree. And so mirroring back that that nugget that you dropped with us about with Christ, the necessities, finding that time to study, that one-on-one study, that's so necessary because his word is so fulfilling, it's so enlightful, it's so impactful, it's so powerful when we speak it, when it's inside of us and we're living it. So it's necessary to get that word inside. It's necessary to move on that moment. It's necessary to grow deeper in worship with him because the more you worship him, the more you feel his presence in the room, and you just desire to go deeper in that worship. And when you feel that, it's something you don't want to let go, you know, it's something you want to get back to again. So again, the relationship goes deeper. So
it's necessary. In
prayer, in worship, in gathering, all of the things, as they say, all of the things is necessary.
That's right.
It's necessary.
That's right.
Well, this was a very necessary conversation. I feel like you said, especially with like COVID and all that stuff that's kind of pulled us apart from a lot of things. It's a very necessary conversation, and we just pray that, you know, somebody that is listening to this episode is able to reach back into their bag of necessities and just add that into just their life, their everyday life, you know. Well, we just thank you for tuning in to Circle Up. If you are not part of the fam, we encourage you to run over to Facebook and Instagram. That's at circleup_AH. Like, share, tag, whichever you feel free, but we want you to be a part of the family. So make sure, if nothing else, you follow us. There's lots of fun content, lots of just Circle Up daily messages that you will always have to be inspired. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is at Circle Up with Amanda Hurd. Again, it's on YouTube. And yes, subscribe so that you can get all the fun content coming your way for 2020. 2022.
2022.
We ain't going back. We're moving forward.
That's right.
That's it for tonight, guys.
It's necessary.
It's necessary. Bye.